Matt, you mentioned after last week's game that Sutton, they had to be a good side to get promoted from the National League. Are you expecting a similar start from Hartlepool on Saturday, another side that fought hard to get out of that league?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at what they did last season and their playoff campaign and the way they get promoted, and then what they've done this season, and certainly their home form has been something which has been so impressive. A really strong team at home, and you can sense the town and the community's got behind them as well. So it sounds strange when you're not going to the biggest ground in the world or the biggest set of supporters in the world, but whether it's 5, 6, 7,000 this weekend, they'll be making a lot of noise and they'll be backing their team. So we've got to understand what it will feel like to start with, and also understand what the game will feel like as well. And we have to implement our style on the game and hopefully just quieten down the expectations of all people who are there.
I mean, you're certainly right. I've got friends up in Hartlepool who have said it's really brought the feel-good factor back to the town. You mentioned their home record, the only side in League Two to have won every single game at home this season.
Yeah, and that's an impressive stat, and every manager wants that stat because you want to be able to rely on your home form, and Hartlepool can certainly do that at the moment. But maybe that just motivates us a little bit more to be the difference and to be a better team than what they've faced so far this season. But the record suggests how difficult it's going to be, and we're certainly not underestimating that fact. So we go into the game with no illusions how difficult the test will be. But we're a good team ourselves, and we're not in bad form. So we've got to go there and not only expect to play a part in what will be a proper game of football, but also implement some of our play on the opposition and affect the game in a positive way. We know we'll have to withstand a little bit of pressure. We know we'll have to ride our luck at times. But with all those aspects included on top of a good playing performance as well, we've got to give ourselves a good chance of being successful.
I think we go into this one perhaps not overly confident, but our clean sheet record this season, 6 from 9, suggests that we have reason to be confident.
Yeah, well, similar to what I just mentioned, we've rode our luck at times, and key players have made key influential actions at big times. Goalkeeper, of course, defenders, of course. I don't know how George Ray cleared that one off the line last weekend with his forehead. I don't know whether it hit him as much as he headed it. But that's the will to defend, and that's not just the back boys in Cam. It's the rest of the group as well. There's been a stubbornness, a resilience, which we've shown in the Bundesliga. The only time we didn't really show it was that first half against Leyton Orient. So I've been pleased with that aspect, and then we've got to hurt the opposition as well. So we'll need a mixture of everything this weekend. And you speak about Hartlepool's home form, and they've got a good defensive record as well. So you certainly don't want it to turn into a 0-0 stalemate. It might well be if the formations match up, but it'll take a little bit of quality or a mistake to break each other down.
We've done Barrow this season. We've done Scunthorpe. We've done Harrogate. We seem to be ticking off the long distance ones fairly early.
How many are left?
Only Carlisle to go after this one, I think. How do you manage the fitness of the players on those long bus journeys?
Well, you just touched upon, they're getting used to it now. And those who've been with us for a longer period of time certainly understand what it takes. It certainly takes its toll. There's no denying that. And we're trying something different tomorrow in relation to our journey up in training times, because we've continually trained at Cirencester, so sort of 2.5 hours into the journey we train, and then we get back on the coach. But we seem to hit traffic no matter what time we set off and no matter what we train. So we're going to try and get up to Sheffield and train up at Sheffield. So hopefully we'll have got past the bulk of the traffic, and then we can have a free run from that point on. And we're grateful to Sheffield Wednesday in relation to allowing us to use their training facilities. But we'll just see how we get on with that. We hope the bus stays intact. We hope it doesn't break down. We hope there's no hiccups along the way. But similar to any game of football away from home, things are sent to test you. We've probably encountered and experienced it already. So we know how to overcome it. The key aspect will be is to make sure our performance is where it needs to be.
Here's hoping the M5 plays nicely as well. Where are we injuries-wise? I think you mentioned Josh Coley's fully fit now, and obviously great to have Archie back in the fold as well.
Yeah, both players played, a lot got game time in the in-house game we had on Tuesday. Archie more so on the back of the hour or so he played the week before, and Josh Coley again. Now it's just a case of fine-tuning the last bit of physical aspects and the game as well. But the fact that they're both training fully, every single day is a real positive aspect because they're both selectable now. Josh will need a little bit longer because he needs to be exposed to some competitive game time, and we'll look to do that in the next couple of weeks. But to have them both available is key because it just strengthens the squad again. I'm more than likely going to be leaving a couple of good players out of the squad, let alone off the bench, in relation to this weekend.
I think Archie Collins must be itching to get back, but who do you drop? Because it's a nice headache to have, is it?
It is, but that's what you want. And let's be honest, when you look at our group of players, it's something we've not had for a period of time. And as a manager, then it's down to make the right decisions at the right time, but also forces players to perform, knowing that there's no pressure on it, there's no added pressure, but there's players waiting to come in and take their opportunity, and also once they're in there, keeping hold of that opportunity and keeping themselves selectable. And it's pretty simple. You stay selectable if you influence a game of football. And as pleased as we were with the result last weekend, our performance wasn't quite where it needed to be for a long period of time. So selection headaches aren't a bad problem, and it's wrong to call them headaches. It's just decisions, and like I say, having more decisions available as a manager certainly shows the signs of where we're getting to.